Okay, people are trickling in.
Oh, it was so quiet. I wondered what was happening.
We have, as you know, many events, and you have that in the slides, right? And Marie, the schedule of events at some
Yes,
point.
we do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And we have tremendous registration for all the events. We are so proud. The staff and members, because the people here that are presenting today are members, we are so very proud of the energy and the generosity of people both within the team at our Neo home office to put events, as well as many of the leaders that are participating in the many different activities in presenting, members of RNO that are shining. And of course, everybody attending is shining because it's Nursing Week. And we are here to celebrate, to kick off Nursing Week, to just rejoice that we are in a magnificent profession. All professions have challenges. Ours is not the only one, and I am not excusing the challenges. But you know what? Challenges give opportunities. And that's what you are going to see in full spectrum today. The opportunities that a group of colleagues, 7 of them, you know, more than ever before, and I will repeat it when we formally start the session, but 7 of them have chosen to take politics as their career choice. What also is inspiring to me, and without giving full background, we will put later on pictures of our colleagues, is that they all maintain a degree of practice, you know, within the nursing profession. And that's beautiful, right? So we will hear from them why also. Why is it that they have maintained practice? What is it about nursing that serves for politics? And maybe also how politics intersects in their day-to-day life of nursing practice. It will be interesting. Like if I was in a unit, I would be asking you questions the entire shift, I think. So here you go. Here you go.
So Doris, I think we have 55 now who've joined us, and it is 10:06. So
we will get going to respect your time. Happy Nursing Week to all of you. Thank you for joining us and joining you, because you are members of RNO, in kicking off this celebration. You need to know that it's fascinating. In most countries, or in many, nursing is a nursing day. It's May 12th, and it's a nursing day, not a nursing week. In North America, because also in the US, we have Nursing Week, because imagine if it was Nursing Day with all the events that are already organized. And by the way, interest groups have organized and chapters have organized a huge number of events, and you can see them in our website. We didn't include them here, I think, today, but yes, I think we did a bit. So just imagine, we will need a day of like 60 hours or 100 hours if we wanted to do that all in one day. So let's keep going. 57 people attending, 7 nurses running for candidacy. Let me start with the land acknowledgement. Irma Jean, would you do us the honor, please?
yes, I certainly will. RNO is located on Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas of the Credit, Treaty 13. Dished with 1 spoon wampum belt covenant, agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and the Ojibwe and allied nations. This land is still the home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people from across Turtle Island. Land acknowledgements are an act of reconciliation, and we must all do our part.
Thank you, Imagine. And Dr. Bainok will be facilitating the questions at the end. I too come from Treaty 13. And one of the reflections about land acknowledgement is what do we do in our daily life towards reconciliation? And there are many ways. One way is this is elections time. There are candidates that come from indigenous communities. One way is support them, regardless of in which party. Support them is not, it's a concrete way of helping people. Another way is celebrations. Well, this is Nursing Week. You could choose a nursing book. You could choose a book about indigenous health. You could choose art that comes and is sold by indigenous people. And I say this because I have spent good time educating myself, and economics, of course, is an important part of life, and contributing to the economy of indigenous peoples is one way that we can support in actions, truth and reconciliation. Next one, please, Anne-Marie. So what we're here today is celebrating politics as a career choice in nursing. We know that members of RNO play, I say play, even though sometimes it looks heavy in the shoulders, play politics a lot. For example, you all answer to action alerts, right? That's a click of a button. You do all candidate sessions. That's more than a click of a button. That takes some organization. You put resolutions to AGM about things that are important, to nursing, health, and healthcare. That's policy. But to take a step bigger, I think is bigger in terms of politics, right? And to say, you know what? I am going to dedicate myself to politics. That to me sounds huge, right? 24/7, whether it's knocking doors now for the candidates, or whether it is fundraising that some may like, some may not like to do, or whether it is from inside the party to try to influence the policies that the party carries out, or if you are already in a position to try to influence where it goes. That takes a lot of, in my view, not only determination, but courage. And so nursing is a lot, as you know, about values, evidence, and courage. What today it is, this wonderful session is about that courage piece. What took the courage for these 7 colleagues that we will put their names, please, Anne-Marie, to run for politics and to make it the next step of their career? And what it is about nursing that helps them do so, and what it is about politics that they think intersects with nursing. And let me tell you, it's the most we ever had. We have had 2 running, we have had 3 running. I don't even know, Anne-Marie, if we had 4, but 7 RNs running for politics. Wow. Kudos to you, to all and every single one of you. And we have 5 of you today with us, and we will put all of the names of everybody that is running, and then we will give in order, alphabetical order, for our colleagues to take 5 minutes and share with us what is it that they did for them to run for politics. And go for it, Anne-Marie, next. Thank you.
So we'll begin with Fiona. As I said, as Doris mentioned, we'll be introducing everybody alphabetically. So Fiona, if you just want to take a moment to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thank you, Dr. Grinspan. So yes, I'm Fiona Jagger. I'm the candidate running for the Green Party for the riding of Leeds, Grenville, the Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes. And so you want me to take a moment and just talk about what brought me to make this choice?
I would. And could we put her full screen and take us out? We will put off so people can see Fiona, can recognize her face in the street, if you don't mind, Anne-Marie. We will turn our cameras off and let Fiona. We will leave just the one speaking, just so that we have the pleasure of putting name and face and name. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is my first time in politics, so it is a big leap. And I have to say how grateful I am to be here today among other nurses. It feels like being sort of home among friendly faces. So it's a great part of the initiation into political life for me. And I'm so grateful to be able to hear all the answers that my colleagues are going to give to these questions as well. I'm sure it's going to be a learning experience for me. But there's a couple of things that brought me to decide to be into politics. So the first one is that I've worked for most of my career in mental health and addictions. And there was just a lot of times that I came up against issues that I realized didn't have a solution that I could sort of execute as a frontline provider, that the solutions to the problems my patients were facing were had political and social sort of roots to them. So, I became a nurse like many of us did because I wanted to be able to provide people with really meaningful, practical support. But here I was, and I had patients who were stuck in the hospital because there was just no place for them to go. Housing providers refusing patients because there was sort of no appropriate level of housing for the people that
Yeah.
serve. People
I
dying.
think everybody has to choose that view, don't they?
Shall I continue? Can you see me? People, and so just to continue on, so issues with the drug supply, people dying of overdose deaths, people living on the cusp of crisis all the time because they were basically living in poverty because of disabilities or other sort of social reasons. And I started to think, do the people who are making the decisions that cause the issues that my clients are seeing, are they aware of it the way I'm aware of it and the way that all of my colleagues are aware of it? So it's not that it was just me, but these were things that were well known by frontline workers. And I wonder, do policymakers really know and understand these things? So that started to develop my interest in becoming more involved on the policy side of things. And then another piece of it is that I now in the past year have been teaching nursing, have been a professor of nursing, and I see the experiences that my students are having, like through their eyes as they're telling me about them, as they enter clinical environments at this point of time when nursing is in a real crisis. And we talk a lot in class about how in order to be the kind of nurse that they want to be, that I want them to be, that I'm teaching them to be, they're not going to be able to just show up at work and do their job. They're going to have to really advocate for changes to the health care system so that they get the support that they need to be the kind of nurse that they want. And so if we're talking about those things in class and I'm telling those things to them, I thought it was worthwhile for me to take this opportunity that I have now to be a voice in politics as well. So that's what brought me to this place.
Thank you so very much, Fiona. And here is Fiona Jaeger, RN, running for the Green Party. Thank you so very much, Fiona. And I must say, I'm sure you know that there is a big rally on the environment coming up. Here you go. And I'm sure we will see you there. Okay, who is next? Let's put the picture. Marjan. Please, Marjan, and the rest of us will turn our cameras off so that we can see Marjan. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Doris and RNAO team for organizing this amazing event. And happy Nursing Week to my colleagues. I really am blessed to be here along with my colleagues. And I just want to start with the question that I always receive, why I'm running to politics. I'm actually running for Aurora Bridges Richmond Hill for Liberal Party. I am a registered nurse and my master is in MBA. I have done advocacy in entire my life. in my entire profession. I think one of the great way to be a nurse is to be the voice for your patients, for the family members, and for the community. And I think I have been quite successful in that purpose. Couple of recent examples that I think I was able to deliver for the people in Ontario was one was providing a new initiative in Ontario, which have been funded after 2 years of hard work with my colleagues in hospital, and we started having dialysis in nursing home. Hemodialysis in nursing home was fairly tough to run, and there were no funding for that. So we actually took courage to do it, and it was not one person show. It was a group of people who really helped out, and I was lucky to lead this program. And now this program have been funded. It means more people can receive the resources in nursing homes. One of the other policy that I pushed was for loneliness. It was part of the resolution that I proposed to RNAO 3 years ago, and it has been carried. And we were able to release budget for daycare programs for elders. And I have seen how important it is to work hard on the policies that you think is important for the community around you. If you have that courage to do something different, think out of the box and bring policies that can serve people, help people, we need to go for it. And I actually have done it for quite frequently, even before I come to Canada. I came to Canada as international educated nurse, and it took me 4 years to become a nurse in Ontario. Although I went to York University, I studied the post-RN program here. After graduation, they asked for my English proficiency, which was kind of humiliating to be graduated in Ontario and being asked such a question, and wait for another couple of months to be able to sit for NCLEX, even though you finish your nursing degree in Ontario. And I think all of those moments that actually sit and reflect on what is around us, what people are facing, how I can accomplish, how I can help others. And those moments help me to realize we can do better. I actually give you one example of how this reflection helped more than 27 international educated nurses in Ontario. In the dialysis program that we run, we hired PSWs fresh from college with few years of experience or no experience at all to do dialysis for patients in their home. It took me a couple of months to convince the hospital, to convince the officials that this can happen if we can bring the nurses, international graduate nurse with the dialysis experience. That person can come and help us. We do have nurses with PhD degree from other countries. They come and call Ontario home. They are waiting. We can bring them into our program. How come a PSW with no experience can do it, but the registered nurse from other countries cannot? We can actually do some other policies. It took me a couple of months to go over the policies, use different codes of conduct, and with the delegation that we give to PSWs, we can do that for the nurses that are here as international graduated professionals. And luckily, it has worked, and we were able to use designation model of PSW for those individuals. Still, I think it is not the right thing to call these individuals PSWs, but at least they are able to work with patients. They
Thank
are
you, Marcia.
able- Thank you so much. I think, all of those policies that we can do and the impact that we can see in people's life is important. We have to continue working hard for our profession to make the nurses' voice out there. We nurses are always, thinking about our patients and family members in the community. What is impacting people to be sick in the first place? Income, loneliness, mental health, education, those are huge. And we are ignoring many, many, many of important factors in social determinants of health.
Thank
And
you, Marjan. We will let now the next person just to make sure
thank you so
everybody
much.
has an opportunity.
Thank you so much, Doris.
We will come back with the questions. I saw that there are already fantastic questions, so we will have more chance to build on.
Thank you.
Angela, your turn. Please, let's keep to the 5 minutes. Otherwise, we will not have time for colleagues to ask questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Doris, and your team, and congratulations to all my colleagues who have the courage to run in this provincial election. It's really exciting. I always find it exciting. This is my 4th time running provincially, and currently I do hold an elected office. I'm an elected Catholic school trustee. I think that I've been elected 6 times or re-elected 6 times. And currently I'm chair of the Toronto Catholic District School Board. So, and actually I was thinking about it. I think it was RNAO way back in the early 70s that was my main motivating factor. I started, I graduated in 69, started working at Michael Garron in 1970 or September of 69. And then I heard some rumors that there was a union starting and that RNEO was behind, sort of, underground. And I attended a meeting at a church on Bloor Street. And at that meeting, there was some discussion as to how to start a union. And so there I was on the front line selling the $1 memberships right at the beginning of the Ontario Nurses Association. And
for people that don't know, and I promise I will give you the time back, for people that don't know, it is correct. RNAO gave birth to ONA. RNAO also gave birth to RPNAO, and RNAO RNAO didn't give birth, but the college was because of HBRAC. So, but to ONA and to RPNAO, yes, and we are so proud that the association did. Back to you, and I will give you those 30 seconds.
That's okay. So here I was. I was a new nurse, and now I'm on the street in front of Michael Garron selling these $1 memberships. And then lo and behold, I wasn't elected president right off the bat. I think I was vice president of the local, and then I became president of the local, and I was president of the local for 10 years. And so, doing my full-time nursing on a general surgical unit and doing, acting as leader of this local. I mean, it just gave me so much experience and in, leadership, in advocacy. I sat on the negotiating committee and the health and safety committee, and just being able to advocate for a safe working environment, being able to hear the concerns of the nurses, and being able to take it to a different table to negotiate for better working conditions, and to also help those who, who really, some of them didn't understand the system so well, and to be able to help them. So that was my, that was what motivated me to keep on going, because then I had children, and I had 7 boys. And during the time that I was bringing up my children, I wanted to be where they were. So I joined school councils, and lo and behold, I became the chair of the school councils. And then again, so I'm in an advocacy role. This is local, local politics. And all the time I stayed nursing. I either worked full-time or part-time. I never wanted to leave nursing. And the skills that I had as a nurse were easily transferable to my other roles as, chair of a school council, or, president of the union. And then from there, I was motivated even further to run for trustee. First time I ran in 97, I didn't win, and then I won in 2000. And, it's been really a rewarding time to have. It's a side gig. My nursing is my first love, and on the side, I'm able to do this politics, and I have had great deal of support from the hospital that I work in. Of course, I make sure that I do my whatever shift I'm on. I make sure that I don't mix the trustee work with the nursing work. I always do my trustee work on my lunch hour, and but I've had a great deal of support from Michael Garron Hospital over this last 20 years. They know I'm in public office, and they know that, sometimes, maybe I'm leaving work a little bit early because I have a meeting to attend, or, there might be some like media coverage, which they, think, oh, okay, that's one of our nurses. But yeah, so all of my experience bringing up my kids and working at the various leadership opportunities have then motivated me to run provincially, because now I've got healthcare and education. I've got both the provincial priorities, and for me, it's like, okay, I need to go to a bigger table, and I can advocate, for the healthcare sector and for education sector. So maybe I'll stop here so others will have a chance.
Thank you so very much, Angela. I do want to bring already a couple of things. First of all, to the many people in the past that have said to us, and we were hesitant for a long time to do that, we shouldn't have the chat open because it's distracting, because people write about the previous one, etc. Leave the pictures for a minute. Thank you for saying that, because it is less distracting. And yet I want to say, in the Q&As are fabulous questions already I picked. So keep them going, the questions, because they're fabulous. And Natalia Cosandova, just to give a background, she is an RN, she is an MPP for very valid reasons that last minute came up. She couldn't be with us today. And Natalia also started at RNAO in the assembly. I remember her as a student at the assembly saying, and then getting involved in politics. And as you know, she was very involved also in the Ukraine mission. So that's with Natalia, and we thank her for, again, the courage to be a politician full-time. And yes, she does continue to work as an RN. She actually, during the pandemic, spent most of the time at the hospital. Next one, please. Lori Scott, also an RN. She, of course, I don't need to give a lot of background on her. She has been minister. So again, very proud, another RN in the house. So this gives you, you know, a bit of what you heard Angela already talking about persistence. You know, she keeps trying. You will hear more people talking about that. Persistence, passions, expertise. And yes, sometimes you get elected actually to the role and work in the role. Next one, please. And Sarah, and I think here is where you will hear again. Sorry that I will advance this, Sarah. Same as you heard already, you will hear again. Persistence, persistence. You heard that from Marjan. You heard, and the passion. You heard that from Angela. You heard that from Fiona. You heard from all the colleagues that have spoken already about passion, persistence, and expertise. And now, Sarah, all yours for a good 5 minutes, please. I think your mic is off.
Apologies. There we go. Thank you so much, Doris. I really appreciate it. One correction I do have is that I'm Mississauga Center, not Mississauga Lakeshore. But thank you. I do appreciate it.
Okay, we will fix it. We will fix it right away.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, leave Sarah. So she's Mississauga Center. Let's leave it there for now. We will fix it so that when the slides are posted, because we will post them so everybody knows, we will fix it. Sorry for that, Sarah.
No, that's all right. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here joining so many lovely panelists on the first of our Nurses Week events, which is absolutely fantastic. Kind of echoing off of the theme, my inspiration really comes from my previous advocacy roles. I've sat on an international nursing board. I've run previously in politics, now in every level of government. This is the last level of government I had to run in and to check off. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege to actually be involved since, I would say, being a student. I attended the RNAO general meetings. I was involved within our interest groups as a student. It was something that was very inspiring to see the nurses around me that were in practice and also had a level of interest within politics and advocacy. So that was the motivation and inspiration, because it was very unique to see nurses at the role of that level of leadership. We aren't the bedside nurses that you kind of turn to, but at the same time, we do maintain that level of practice. Many of us are still heavily engaged within our classic nursing roles, I would say, or within dynamic nursing roles, where we do participate actively with the community, but at the same extent, we're also trying to make an impact at a level that is above patient care, above patient focus, within the dynamic of further advocating for our colleagues within our profession, but at the policy level. So I think it's phenomenal that we do have so many candidates this year. I think it's fantastic to see the energy that they bring. It's motivating for me because it's always great when I hear feedback and conversation surrounding the level of interest within politics and engagement. And it's also great to see how we come from various walks of life. We're not just nurses with seniority. We're not nurses at the end of our careers, at the midst of our careers. We're also nurses at the early levels of our careers. So for me, I've been a nurse for under 5 years. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've been genuinely interested in since day one of leaving nursing school. I knew that I was going to get engaged within my local groups, listen to people, and that was something that was well received, especially from the profession, where I've had other nurses come up to me and say, you know what, this is something that's interesting. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's further explore it. I've had employers that have been heavily supportive of it as well, which I do think is an added benefit, especially when there is that motivation for you to seek out that seat and for you to engage within the political role. So I thank RNAO again. It's an absolute privilege and pleasure to be here, and I look forward to today's panel.
Thank you so very much, Sarah. And Sarah, I will steal a minute. This is in lieu of the error.
That's okay.
To ask that you share that you also ran before and that you didn't let this to stop you, but the persistence, because I think this is something so common amongst all of you that have spoken. I mean, all nurses have passion. Let me say that. But to take it to the next level of making that commitment to politics and to do it from a nursing perspective and to say, I am a nurse and I am in politics, and to continue both doing the politics and doing the nursing practice, it really takes, I think, all of our honoring all of you and respecting all of you and supporting all of you. So would you share a bit about past experience, just very quickly?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that, Doris. So as I mentioned, I've run at every level of government now. So I started out by running at the municipal level in a school board trustee position, actually. Unfortunately, there's a lot of dynamics with regards to that. It was my first election. I didn't have a lot of insight. I didn't really have a mentor who was there to guide me, because I think at the municipal level, there isn't a whole lot of stringent criteria compared to something that's more of a federal and provincial base. So I thought that that was kind of nice. I started an abstract, a more abstract type of election sphere. So that was really great. I had a huge amount of support from friends and family at that point. I was just finishing off nursing school. I think I had just about a year of practice under my belt. So it was something that I was trying to juggle my first job in conjunction with running within the political realm. But then I went on to the federal level, ran twice at the federal level. So I ran with the NDP and with both. Again, unique experience, great reception as a nurse. And I think it's always fantastic to hear that on both the end of your colleagues and employers. And then that motivation kind of compounded and propelled me into running at the provincial level. And that's where I am right now. And again, I thank everybody here today. I think it's awesome that we have about 67 participants on this call right now. And I saw a couple more who were in and out. But it indicates that there is an interest within the profession, that there's a huge amount of momentum here. And I thank you for that. So I'll throw it back to you, Doris. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very, very much. And I think that the last colleague that is presenting today is Tyler Watt, who also started this as a student. So I do need to say a comment, Sarah, and to all of you. You know, you mentioned, it's not the beginning of the career, it's not the mid of the career, it's not at the end of the career. And you're so right, it's in all stages of the career. And we, in fact, have several that started very early in the career and that have carried on. So Tyler, all yours, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Doris and the RNAO, for organizing this, and happy Nurses Week to everyone. So my name is Tyler Watt. I'm the Ontario Liberal Party candidate for the riding of Nepean in this upcoming provincial election. I am a registered nurse. I work here in the community, specifically in rehab, which I really love because I get to see a lot of my patients get better over a few weeks and usually go back home. For nursing, for me, it felt like it was the right route for me to go to. My mother is an RN, so I grew up around it. It's definitely in the family blood. And I always knew that I just wanted to help people. And I had a special interest in science, so I felt that nursing was that direction for me. I absolutely love nursing, and I feel like it is such an honor and a privilege to be able to be that person and provide that care for our patients and their families, particularly in such a vulnerable part of their lives. And as nurses, we are taught that we are to be advocates for our patients, their families, and our communities. And that part of nursing has really resonated with me. I've taken on that advocacy role, particularly when it comes to issues in my community. And, I love making a positive difference in my patients' lives at the bedside day to day. And I've decided to run for government because I want to do it for my community and my province. I think now more than ever, we really need a nurse's lens, or more nurses' lens in the legislature in Toronto that can really start to address the many issues that we see in our healthcare system. So it really excites me to see all of you here today and that there are so many nurses running in this election. And I'm just, really excited to see what happens over, the next week and days coming. So just thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Tyler, for being with us. And I follow all of you that have Twitter, and I think you do, on Twitter, and I just enjoy myself. I try very much to restrain myself on retweeting, because then I will retweet every one of you. So do me a favor, put all the pics, please, Anne-Marie, from all the RNs running. And I will first ask Imagine to ask questions, or put them all, put the pictures, because then everybody will know all the candidates that are running that are nurses, please. And then all of you that are here running, please put your cameras on so we all can see you that you're here. And Imagine, if you can go with the first question. There are phenomenal questions. Thank you.
Yes, there are. And thank you very much, Doris. And thank you all who have spoken. You're absolutely amazing. And I can just hear the heart with which you speak about nursing and the head. I'm so thrilled. You truly are nurse politicians, and thank you for joining us today. Anne-Marie is creating that slide, Doris, as we speak, so we'll move right now to questions. We had a great first question, and this really resonates with the comments many of you made, so I think you could all speak to it. The question is, nursing in politics should advocate for people's needs, not party agendas. What do you feel are the barriers in doing this? So
we will let any of you respond, whether you are in office or not. But maybe Angela first, just because you had a little bit of taste, at least in politics, inside already.
Yeah.
And then anyone, because to tell you the truth, I'm sure that even if you're not inside, right? Like someone like Marjan, or someone like Tyler, or someone like Fiona may think a little bit different of the party leader. So it's not just at the legislature, I think. And you may say, but let's do this, and say, yep, I hear you, but that's not where we are going now. So any of you that want to jump, please, and don't feel compromised.
So I'll just say that, you have to pick the party in provincial politics and federal politics. You have to pick the party and the leader who resonates with your own values, so that then you can bring, what you believe in, and what all the you can bring to that party appropriate advocacy to kind of meet the goals that you have. Every party has their own value system, and sometimes you have to kind of bow down to that, and that could be a challenge in bringing your own advocacy. But there are definitely ways around it, and you just have to be courageous, and you have to be persistent, and you have to do your homework, and you have to listen to all the experts around you, because if you don't have that expertise, someone else does, and you need to bring that to meet that challenge.
What a fantastic answer. I think, Tyler, you have your hand up. Go next, please.
Thank you. For me, I really got into this because I wanted to make change. I wanted to bring my vision and experience and needs of my community into politics, because that's where we can really impact change for people. And one of the things that I'm most proud of so far in this election, along with my colleague Marjan, we've had a personal hand in crafting the healthcare platform for the Ontario Liberal Party, particularly when these sections when it comes to nursing and healthcare, and healthcare workers. So I feel really encouraged and happy that I'm a part of a party, particularly during our platform process, that we're listening to our frontline workers, and the fact that I was actually able to get things in there that from my own experience and things that RNAO have been advocating for, I feel very proud of. So I'm really happy to be a part of a party that really listened and encouraged the talent and expertise from their candidates to be that involved in our platform creation.
Thank you very much. I think I see Marjan, and then I will give it also to Sarah and Fiona to comment. So just so we hear from all of you. Thank you so very much. Go for it, Marjan. I saw your hand up.
Thank you so much. I want to echo what Tyler said. Once I actually decided to run for politics, I knew there may actually be some challenges along the way. I actually put a lot of efforts to choose the party that actually fit with what I believe can serve Ontario better and the policy that I believe that party can bring. As Tyler mentioned, we had really good amount of time consulting with Ontarians. And for some time, I was not a candidate. I was a nurse advocate participating on those meetings. And through the town halls, I actually heard how the people around the table are open to listen and open to bring policies that are helping. And the other factor that I would actually mention is knowing what you want to do and being part of the policy making team is really important. And in Liberal Party, we have given the chance to be part of that process. I worked with income security and peoples with disability. I believe the poverty is really important issue in our society that we need to fix it. And having a voice of a nurse into that policy team will make a lot of change in future of Ontario. And I'm so grateful for that. I believe this is the personal choice that I make to be part of the Liberal team. And I'm seeing not only me and Tyler be a nurse in our team, we have 4 nurses. Am I right? We have 5 nurses in our team. And this is fantastic.
Thank you, Marjan. Thank you very much. Sarah, you want to contribute, and Fiona, and then I know Imagine has covered some questions together. I am seeing so many questions. There are 5, and each one is fantastic. So we want to get to everybody. So go for it, Sarah, if you have anything else to add, and the same with Fiona.
Yeah, I think it's just to echo the similar theme. I'm part of a party that's actively listening to frontline workers. So I think that's the narrative that we want to bring forward. Is reality is we're the experts in this field. It's nice to feel like we have that credibility given back to us in a way that's actually practically being applicable in today's context and in today's policy objectives. For the longest time, we've been yelling at closed doors, and I think it's nice to see the receipt of a party that actually furthers the goals that we all have and furthers objectives like abolishing Bill 124, ensuring that we do have safe staffing, things that we've all witnessed firsthand during the pandemic and that we've all been a part of and all been heavily impacted by, and come with that experience and bring that full throttle with the energy that we do to the parties that we're aligned with. So thank you guys. I just wanted to appreciate the effort and the points that were brought forward and just echo it and say, yeah, it's honestly a motivating factor when you have a party that listens to you.
Thank you, Sarah. And Fiona, anything to add from your end, please?
Really the same things that I think we're all in politics because we see that we need to be led by people other than only lawyers and business people. We want to see service people, and we want to see people who work directly with communities be in politics. So I know within my, candidate team, but I'm hearing the same thing from you, my colleagues, like I'll call up a teacher who's also a candidate and say, what are the issues? They'll call me up as a nurse candidate and say, I'm talking to the Ontario Nurses Association, but can you help me out with really understanding their perspective and what's going on? So, and then for me, it was like everybody said, about carefully choosing the party you want to run for so that they align with your values. So it's not a huge a conflict, but rather just, same as anywhere where you're appreciating each other's perspectives and feeling like you have something to add to the table. So, yeah.
Thank you, Fiona. And Imagine, I know you have a set of questions that you want to.
Yes, I do. And there have been at least 7 questions, and I've put them together. One question, a combination is, okay, I'm interested in getting started. What do I do? How do I begin? And how do I even become a candidate? And that's one part of the question. The other is, how do we interest students and novice nurses in politics more? As you've obviously been interested.
So I exactly, I want to start at the end. I think the end was answered because we have Sarah that got interested as a student. We have Tyler that got interested as a student. To a certain extent, even Angela, because she started years and years ago. Marjan as a newcomer, but also and Marjan, I can't apologize because I was not involved, but I can relate to this issue that you were asked for language proficiency after you finish even here. I mean, that's more than politics. That's a big issue. And as you know, RNO is tackling it. And of course, we had also, as we know, Natalia, that was a student. So many of you started as students. So I think, Imagine, students actually are taking cover, and that's a good thing. But your question of where do you start? And I would want to start with different people this time. So just to change the order of people that respond, this time we will start with Fiona. Where do we start? Then we will go to Sarah. Then we will go to Taylor. I think we will just do reverse order, guys. So be ready for it and quickly so we can get to other questions. Thank you. Go for it, Fiona.
I would say if you're interested in federal or provincial politics, think about the parties that you most align with, and then approach one of us. We'd be happy to talk to you about it, who's in the party, who has that experience. I can tell you that I never intended or thought I was going to go into politics, just started thinking about it. And then really, as soon as I sort of reached out to the campaign team to say, how can I be a supporter? How can I get involved? This sort of snowballed, actually becoming a candidate. So really just reach out to someone, participate in this election, support your local candidate, find out what's going on, and then let it go from there.
Yep.
Very good. Sarah, you want to go for it? How did you start, Sarah?
Yeah, so apologies. I have a couple of things popping up on my desktop. I totally apologize for that.
Would you like someone else to?
No, that's all right. I'll go ahead and seg into it. I think it's an important question. It's great to see that there is an interest at the student novice nurse level. I know that that's something that was heavily on track with me when I first got involved. I got involved with the RNAO student group, as well as the CNSA. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the CNSA, but they're a huge student advocacy body. And it was fantastic to see the energy that they brought, especially from the students' front. So we had the national as well as the regional and the provincial based organizations that did open the doors up to students, which I thought was amazing and highly supportive. And then I thought, hey, how do I propel this further? So then I got involved with the international nursing group, Nursing Now, as a young nurse advocate, and I was actually the youngest member of their board. So that kind of solidified the fact that I knew I wasn't going to do something conventional with nursing, went on to complete a master's degree that did have a slight policy focus within it. And then from there, I thought, hey, how do I continue to get involved? How do I continue to get engaged? And so I sought out a party that aligned best with my views. And that for me was the NDP. I got involved with their regional group, their local riding, met a couple of the members, got enthusiastic, heard about opportunities within the party. And slowly, it became apparent that there was an opportunity for me to run. And that was something that a lot of the members of the Riding Association backed and propelled me towards. So it was fantastic to have that. And that's how I started my career within the political realm. And being on the ballot, it was very much so from the basis of becoming a student that was very empowered within that nursing environment in that realm.
Thank you. I think we will not go through all the other candidates. We will let Tyler and then we will move because there is a very important question, I think, to Angela vis-a-vis Michael Garon that I want Imogen to read. And also there is another one very important that are general for all of you, like how employers can help, etc., etc. So Tyler, go for it. And then Imogen, if you can ask the questions that Brittany, I think, asked to Angela, that is really very important. And Rose asked also, super sharp. All of the questions are fantastic. I wish we had more time, guys. 60 people, we had 65 at the, so we may need to do another one, but let's keep going, please.
Awesome.
Tyler and then Imogen.
Awesome. Well, I mean, my fellow candidates and nurse colleagues here, said a great point. Reach out to your local candidates, reach out to the parties. You have a whole list here of nurses and people running that would love to hear from you and talk to you about how you can get involved. There are so many different avenues that you can take to get involved. For me personally, mine was a bit more unique because I started my advocacy really on the grounds, through joining protests, with nurses, ONA, RNAO, but as well as speaking out online while still, maintaining my standards of practice as a nurse, but really focusing on that advocacy part of myself. And that speaking out on social media is actually what linked me up with the Ontario Liberals. I had MPPs who reached out to me to say, hey, like we like what you're saying, and like let's continue this conversation. So it was pretty cool to use the avenue of social media to really start getting involved for myself. But I think definitely the best way is reach out to us, because we've done this now. It is a complicated process, but the more nurses that want to get involved, I'm sure we are all more than happy to help mentor you and guide you through that process.
So thank you, Tyler. And before Imogen asks the question, just because I saw 5 people leaving, and I'm afraid more may leave, Tyler, be careful for what you ask, because I did have an announcement at the end. I will make it now, and it's that we will form an interest group. I already spoke with a couple of people running. They're really eager to help, and I see you are too. I just didn't have a chance to get to you. So we will form an interest group of nurses running or aspiring to run, because several people have very good questions, and Imogen will put the next one. And I saw Lori's question about how we interest students. I think students to cover, but we also want the mid-career, the late career, and every stage of career. And not that all nurses need to run for politics, but if there are, you guys can help. Imogen, back to you, please.
Okay, thank you. And this question actually was targeted to Angela, because you mentioned Michael Garon being very supportive of your role. And it really is about the role of employers in helping one who is a nurse become involved in politics. And then the combination question adds on, do you really have to quit your nursing role to be in politics? So perhaps as a wrap up, that might be a good focus about how you've combined nursing and politics and what role employers play.
Yeah, so I
Just
never,
one second. We will start with Angela. And on this one, I absolutely want everybody to comment briefly, simply because I think that it will demystify. It will demystify running for politics, because I know that in one way or another, all of you have needed to or have wanted to continue to work as a nurse. Go for it, Angela.
yeah, so I never wanted to quit nursing. That's my first love. So I used my advocacy in as involvement in ONA to negotiate job sharing in our contract. And then I was able, when I had my children, then to do, 2 days a week. So there's a way, nursing is really flexible. There's a way to work 2 days a week, 1 day a week, casual, full-time, part-time, and to have a second gig on the side. And what I want to say is that if you want to get into politics, you need to volunteer, volunteer, volunteer to everything, to the committees in nursing. You need to volunteer to riding associations, to campaigns, federal, provincial, trustee campaigns. Just volunteer till you drop, and you'll learn everything there is to know. And like I say, with Michael Guerin was very there was a lot of recognition, by the director of nursing, by all the nursing practice leaders, a lot of encouragement, and people watched me. Other nurses, like they didn't, they just watched me in the media and watched me. They knew that I was being elected as a school trustee. They knew I was chair of the board. Just in passing in the hallway, congratulations, or they would, tweet something out. So, that just helps a lot. So I'll stop
Thank you
there.
so very much, Angela. And I am going to ask now, just to shift a bit the order, Marjan, if very briefly you can say, did you quit? You didn't? How do you manage both?
I actually work full time while I started being a nomination candidate, and throughout the campaign until recently that I had a little health issue with my mom and dad. They had to be in the hospital, so I had to take care of them. I took a late leave of absence to be able to do the both job. But I still am nurse. I still will go back to nursing when the election is over. And even if I be elected, I will continue being a nurse. And the good thing about the nursing is you can work in different capacities, in different shifts, as Angela mentioned. And you can still bring the value of nursing into Queen's Park. I don't want to, extend to be able, everyone be able to speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marjan. Sarah, you are next. Are you in nursing? Meaning, I should not say that. I will never forget when, if a couple of years into RNO, one of my sons said to me, "You're not a nurse anymore." I almost about fainted, because I was not in the front lines, even though I was, teenagers do this a bit to you sometimes. That was back then. Now they're very proud that I am a nurse. So Sarah, are you in clinical practice or management practice or whichever practice, or only focus on the politics?
I actually work 3 other jobs. So I do my regular home base as an emergency psych nurse. I do public health, and then I also work as an agency nurse. So in addition to that, I've taken on my political leg. It shows you that nursing is so dynamic, that there's no limitations with it, that it is really what you make of it. And that's something that nursing for me has always been, is that it's not the conventional, oh, I'm at the bedside role. It's very unique. And I think a lot of younger nurses are really exploring that. And I say that kudos to them for kind of exploring the uniqueness of nursing for what it is, because the sky's the limit. We see so many nurses across the board who have done so many amazing things. And yet at the end of it, they always go back to the foundation and say, hey, I'm a proud nurse. And that's really what the basis is. Yes, I'm a proud nurse doing all these things. And as you can see, with our great panel here today, they're all nurses, and they're all nurses at heart, and they're all people who genuinely care for the interests of those around them.
Beautifully said, Sarah. Thank you so much, Tyler, and then Fiona.
I've been really lucky that my employer and my floor manager have been so supportive of my journey through politics throughout this. I was nominated last May. So this has been kind of an ongoing process for about 2 years now for me. And I have been working, full-time at the hospital and then part-time as a public health nurse doing the immunizations for COVID-19. So it's been a very busy time, but, because nurses have unique schedules, for my full-time job, I do 4 on, 5 off. In those 5 off, when I wasn't immunizing, I was able to devote like a decent amount of time to politics and door knocking and all the things that come with campaigning, as well as I started a leave of absence to focus full-time on the campaign about 2 months ago. So I actually do really quite miss nursing. I have gone back because they really have been desperate for some help during this sick wave. But, just to have all that support from my colleagues and my employer has been quite wonderful. So I hope that everyone else has the same experience and that anyone who is trying to pursue politics at some point in life, just, be honest and open, communicate with your employer and the appropriate people. And I'm sure they will be able to support you throughout this journey.
Thank you, Tyler. And I want to add, you have not been lucky. They are, all the employers, all of them, not only yours, lucky that they have people of your caliber, of your commitment, each one of you, of your passion, and yes, your expertise at the front lines, whichever those front lines are, whether it's clinical practice or whether it's in hospital, home care, or long-term care, or whether it's management, they're lucky to have you there and to continue to work on it. Fiona, you have the last word on this one, and then I want to do a very brief wrapping remarks.
So I also continue to work full-time. I'm a full-time nurse educator at present. And I knew going into the campaign that would make this a very busy time, but that's okay. And I talked to my boss and to my dean about it. And I said, what do you think about this? Do you think this is an okay thing? And I've been really overwhelmed by the support of my management and of my colleagues. I was a little concerned. I thought politics can be a divisive issue. Will people see it as, against maybe what their personal political beliefs are? Because, you run for a particular party or with particular values. And instead, what I found is that colleagues are just really excited to have the nursing voice represented in the riding and in the debates, and are very, very supportive of that. So I would encourage anybody to go ahead and allow politics to enrich your other nursing work, just like your nursing work enriches your political work.
Thank you. And as I make closing remarks, I would ask that those nursing candidates that are running for elections, that are willing, not necessarily now, because we all know that you're very busy, but that are willing for colleagues. We still have 53 colleagues, and we will post this, but that are willing for colleagues to connect with you directly. If you would be so kind to either write your email on the Q&A or to let Anne-Marie know that you are willing. We will follow up with an email to all of you asking, because I think one thing is for us to work with you in launching an interest group, and you all said it so beautifully, and I am so thrilled that our colleagues at RNAO and myself decided to make this about a career in nursing versus policy. Even though you all spoke about policy, you all spoke about aligning with the party that is more in tune with what your views are, which obviously is fantastic. The fact that you are all so congratulatory and so supportive of one another and so embracing of the diversity of one another, I think it bodes well for the profession. So I want to end by saying that, and I am not sure, but Angela may know if Lori continues to work clinically or in management. She was before in management. I do know, though, that Natalia is. And there is another side to the question that you guys were asked, and that I am not sure we will have time to answer, but hey, imagine this may be another session, not during nursing week, but post-nursing week on the webinars we do. And the other question is, do always a party? Is always a party willing for you to continue to work clinically? That's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
So employers are willing and celebrate you. Are parties willing? And I know for a fact that Natalia during the pandemic was actually at some points full-time working. So, and I have never had the chance to ask her, how did that happen? Like how do you manage that, right? And I am sure, knowing the party leaders, I am certain that all party leaders will facilitate and embrace, not full-time, unless there is another lockdown, please no, but at least to keep some shifts, right? So again, there is also a parallel. I am interested now that I heard all of you to hear doctors, do doctors continue to always work clinically or in whichever way when they are politicians? It's different than saying lawyers. One of you mentioned we have lots of lawyers and others. We need more healthcare professionals. I vouch for that. But do doctors continue to work clinically? And how do parties facilitate that? Is an interesting next questions that intrigue me, and I'm sure you have many other questions. So to all of you, we wish you from absolutely the bottom of our hearts success. You are all running in different ridings. And we at RNO have said over and over and over that we need nurses in the legislature. We also need nurses in Parliament Hill. And yes, like Angela now hinted, we also need nurses as trustees and as everything, because you have the expertise, you have the passion, you have the lived experience of working side by side in the journey of people. And you can bring that expertise forward. And given that you are all running in different ridings, hey, I can say to all of you, win, 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 because we need nurses there. And please know that we stand behind you. Those of you that, well, all of you are RNO members, you know that we do help, not financially, but we do actually send your materials. I will repeat it over and over and over to the candidates. So send to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie put the email again. I know Anne-Marie has been in touch with you. Send your materials. Yes, everybody is very busy and exhausted of this pandemic. I know that after this session, many colleagues will come forward and help you to knock doors or any other ways you need. So write to Anne-Marie. We know you don't have a lot of time to do. We cannot do it for you, but send, when is your next meeting? Or send, I need help with knocking doors, whatever it is to send, and we will send to the nurses in your riding, based on the membership. So for your passion, for your persistence, for your expertise, for everything you give to the profession, both in your day-to-day clinical practice and your day-to-day now knocking doors and politics, get in there. We want you there, and we will come and celebrate all of those of you that get into the legislature, and to those of you that for whatever reason don't get, listen to those that have run several times, keep going, and we will stand with you and we will celebrate you as well. We also want to ask that you don't forget to ask people. This is Raul Pinto ask us to remind you to, number one, get all candidates to invite people to go out and vote. And I would say not only the candidates, but every one of the 65 people that attended, tell people to vote, tell people to tweet about it, tell people to, the democracy actually depends on it, whether it's federally, provincially, or municipally, democracy really is the privilege of many things, including the privilege of voting or speaking in social media, etc. So go for it. We are so very proud of our candidates, nursing candidates, proud to an end degree. Please know we are with you. And do we take a picture, please? Do we take a picture? Only of the candidates. We will get out of the way and we will put you alone there. And then below you can put all the candidates to whoever is tweeting. So put the pictures of who was here, put the pictures of the candidates, and we will send it to you so you can tweet. Super proud of you. And these are the events for the rest of the week. Of course, we know that the candidates are very busy, so we do understand if you cannot attend, and we totally accept that. And also to the rest of you, join us for the rest of the events during Nursing Week. Can we put the candidates, and Irmagine and I will get out of the way and someone will take the pic.
Okay, I think Madison's there to take a picture, but I'll also take a picture as well. So I'll just count down from.
But put
3.
it full screen. You need to take the schedule off because it shows the schedule.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so 1 moment. Okay, so I'll just count down from 3. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let's get me.
And
Okay.
somehow your name is there also.
Okay.
So we need to really put full screen for, and Imagine needs to be off.
Yeah, I just turned on to say all it is the names, Anne Marie.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Madison, you can walk us on.
Yeah,
From my screen, I can see it, so I can
No,
take a
we see your
screenshot.
name, Anne Marie.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm here as well, and I can see all the candidates, so I'll take the picture. And just Angela, if you don't mind putting your phone down, thank you. In 3, 2, 1. Great, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much to all of you, and good luck. Good luck.
thank you all. Bye. Fabulous session. Thank you, Doris and all.
Thank you, Imagine, and to all of the
Thank
candidates.
you. Good luck, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Bye.